All right, so we're just going to share just a few things about the mission trip next summer. Just for those of you watching this and had previous information that we were going to Michigan, understand that some things change, and so the dates have shifted and where we're going. But I would just pray that you see if that works for you now. So where are we going? We are going now to Hazlet, New Jersey. Group Mission Trips had to they filled up the Michigan site before we could get spots, so now we're going to be going to Hazlet, New Jersey. That is about a 15-hour drive over 2 days. That really gives us the different dates, and that'll be on there. We'll stay at a host church on the way there and a host church on the way back, so that really adds that extra day on that Sunday. And so we just hope that you understand that. You'll sleep on cots or a bedroll for the week, and so you'll bring that with you and all that good stuff. But that's kind of how we get there, where we're going, all that good stuff. How do we travel? We typically will travel by 15-passenger van and or bus, depending on how many students end up wanting to go and parents on this trip. So that's just how we travel. So it'll be over a couple days. You'll get packed in like sardines, and it'll be lots of fun, and you'll get to know people. And lots of people will tell you that the bus ride or the van ride can be some of the funnest part of the trip. So I would just encourage you to be prepared for that. So a typical day at a group mission trip, when we get there on Sunday, we'll leave on Saturday. We'll stay at host churches the nights before, but during the week, Monday through Friday, the typical day looks like this. You'll get up at about 6:45 in the morning. There'll be a warm breakfast, and then there's a morning program at 8 a.m. After 8 a.m., 8:15, we get out to the work sites, depending on how far they are from the school that we're staying at. And then we return to camp sometime around 3:30. Then everybody showers. Please shower. You're going to be stinky working out at a site all day. So you'll shower. We eat dinners typically at 5. There's an evening program at 7:30. And that's their way of doing like the worship experience stuff and speaker stuff and all that good stuff. And there's times with your crew and your youth group and just a way for us to grow in our faith. Then we'll have youth group devotions after that. So that's kind of our time to unpack the days each day as a youth group. And then lights out are 11, and then we do it all over again. So it's a fun week. It's a long week, but it's a good time as God's people together. So when you're on your work site, you will be in a crew of 5 or 6 people. There'll be 1 or 2 adults. There'll be 4 to 5 students. And really nobody will know each other. So one of the things about this mission trip experience is we'll be there with 400 other people from all over the country. And you'll be on a crew with 5 people who don't know each other or 6 people that don't know each other. All the adults, people ask me, all the adults are background checked and approved by the youth leaders of the different churches or the pastors of the different churches that'll be serving with us. And so you won't know them, they won't know you. And that might seem a little scary. And I've had lots of students over the years be like, I don't know if I can do that. This is weird. In fact, most students would tell me it's one of the best parts of camp. They get to know 5 other people pretty well and just have fun with them and enjoy life together. So I would just tell you it's one of the cool parts about camp. You just get to go and serve at somebody's house and do that part of the day. So what kind of work do? We do things like building wheelchair ramps for those who are in need of that with mobility issues. We paint houses inside and out. When I put roofing on here, typically what that looks like is putting a shingle or 2 back up or nailing a couple shingles up, repairing something, maybe putting some tar, maybe putting some caulk in something or something like that. We don't do like full roofs. But there is some roofing stuff we'll do. Sometimes there's painting. There's like an aluminum paint that you paint on the top of a trailer home. So sometimes they do that. We've put up some siding, porches, skirting around the trailers. So it just kind of depends on the year and the community and what they need. But we do that kind of work, and it's pretty it's hard work. The one thing I just want to say out loud is the thing I love about it is anybody can learn to do all these things, right? They're also good life skills for people to have, but more importantly, you don't have to have any skills coming in. Now, if you're a parent who can show your kid how to, use a paintbrush, paint something, learn how to do some tricks and tips and tricks, and use a screw gun. Those are all things that can be helpful for your young person, but they're not necessary. We can teach them when they get there, and give them all that information or all that stuff that they need when they arrive. And as an adult too, you don't necessarily need to know. You'll have a site coach and others who can help, and they kind of divide the crews based on skill level and all that stuff. So don't worry too much about that. Then you're going to have an opportunity to be with a resident, and what you're going to do, when you go and serve and you build a wheelchair ramp or paint or whatnot. One of the things that is great about this trip is you get an opportunity to meet with an individual resident, not a large group, not something like normally where we like collect something as a group and you just distribute it. You're actually going to meet with an individual person, and you're going to get to know their stories. You get to share life with them. You get to hear and talk to them, and many of them are lonely. Just share a couple of stories of different things that students have gotten experience to do. Right, they've gotten experience to be the hands and feet of Jesus and talk to people. And one of the stories I like to share is there was a group of my students who went, and they were in a house in West Virginia, and they had this ranch home that was pretty much falling apart, pretty dilapidated. They were painting that week. It was kind of run down. It had been a while that anybody had really taken care of it. The paint was peeling off the house. It was all sorts of stuff. But in the front yard, there was an immaculate 8,000-gallon pool, and in-ground pool, beautiful, well maintained. All of it was good. And the guy throughout the week didn't say much, didn't say a lot of things, didn't share a lot. But on Thursday, he looked at his crew and he said, "Hey, I'd really like you to bring your swimsuits tomorrow. I know many of you are probably standing here saying, well, why does this guy have this beautiful pool and the rest of his house is a nightmare, and he's just looks sad all the time and just sits on his front porch and looks at it?" Well, the reality is about 10 years ago, my 8-year-old daughter fell in that pool and she died. And I've been keeping it up because as a memory to her. I've let everything else in my life go. I've lost my home. I've lost my job. Everything's a mess. My wife left me. He goes, but you guys this week helped change my life. I feel like there's hope again, and I want someone to swim in my pool. And so if you could bring your suits back tomorrow and swim, I would be much appreciated. And so they did. I've had students over the years build wheelchair ramps for people and watch them roll down it and put their feet in the grass. And sometimes it's the first time they've touched grass in a couple of years. You'll meet people who are lonely, who've not been out. You'll find out about people and their life moments. I had a group one time painting on the inside of a house, and we didn't have any. We couldn't see. The light bulbs were burnt out in a couple of the rooms, and so we had asked if we could get a light bulb because when you want to paint, you got to be able to see. And of course, she turns off the light in her room that she's sitting in, pulls out the light bulb and hands it to us. And one of the kids asked me, well, why does she not have more? Like, why did she do that? I said, guys, she's making decisions between having light bulbs and having bread. Like, she's choosing to eat over a light bulb. And those are some of the choices that sometimes people have to make in our world. And so we get to do that. We get to be with them. Some of them are going to be wonderful Christian people. Some of them are going to not be. And they need the love of Jesus too. And you can have an eternal impact on their life. And to be honest, they're going to have more of an impact on yours. The way they're going to love you, the way you're going to love them, and a connection point you can make throughout the week. So I'd encourage you, if you've never thought about doing something like this is the reason I really point to. It helps students and people be the hands and feet of Jesus. You'll get to pray with them. So just encourage you to think about that and even be praying about that if you decide to go with us about your resident come the fall. The goal of group mission trips, their goal, my goal, is not that you would have these great skills and you'd be able to build a house or do all those things, but that ultimately your young person would grow in faith, that you would grow in faith if you're going to be attending with us, right? That you would grow in your understanding of what it means to be the hands and feet of Jesus, grow in your understanding of what it means to have faith in Christ. And some people always ask me, like, why do we need to travel so far? And I'm a firm believer that having experiences outside of your norm can be formative to your faith walk, right? Is there plenty of stuff to do in Milwaukee? Sure, there absolutely is, and we'll do some of that in ministry here at Hales Corners. But I think there's a point to breaking you out of your normal comfort zone, out of your normal area, out of your normal people that you know, um, and change and impact your life and see how you might serve an individual. And then hopefully you'll come back and look around your neighborhood, look around your community, and see somebody's house that has the grass 3 feet tall, and instead of calling the city, you go over and cut their grass, right? Or you go over and find out about your neighbor, or you start to talk about it. So part of this is really meant to help you start understand that, and then just getting away can help us reset our faith life, our faith conversations, and our faith walk together. So that's the goal of Group Mission Trip. It's not just to do something nice for somebody, but that your faith would be impacted in the process of doing that. So just some understandings about cost. The group mission trip fee is $558. The gas and van rental is about $300 a person. That's kind of how we figure that out. So about $858 the total cost. We charge everyone $400 per person for camp. That's assuming about 45 students and 8 adults. There is a little bit of tool cost that you potentially could have for, we have to bring our own tools. So paintbrushes, rollers, roller covers, some of that will be donated. Some of that you'll need to bring. And I just tell people to budget about $25. And then there's a food cost for the travel days. So the front and the back. That can range anywhere from $75 to $100. So just kind of thinking through that for your young person and all those kind of things. I was asked at the meeting, are we going to do any fundraisers to do the different part of that? So the way fundraisers will work is all funds will go into one big pot and lower the cost for everybody. So we'll do a couple of, we'll do the e-waste one, we'll do trivia night again. Part of that will go to this trip, part of that will go to future national youth gatherings and some other pieces. And then we'll be fundraising some other things. We'll do some other donation type things. That'll help bring the cost down. If we get enough money and we raise enough and I can budget more money and all those kind of things, I might be able to lower that cost per person again. But one of the challenges with doing like individual accounts is I'm technically supposed to give you a 1099 if we do that. But if you have questions about that, come see me and we can talk about that as well. But it'll be $400. The $60 deposit will come off that $400. So just something to be aware of. So it's not $400 plus a $60 deposit. It's just $400 should be your total cost per person coming out. Like I'll say with any trip I do in youth ministry at Hales Corners, if money is a reason you can't go, let me know. And I'll make sure that you can go. We'll take care of it. No questions asked. We're not going to fill out whatever kind of form. Just if you need help and you want to, and your student wants to go, please let me know and I'll take care of that. We are going to need some adults, and we have to be 21 years or older. You got to my 3 things on any mission trip if you come with me is you got to love students because you're going to be impacting students, our students, students from other communities, all those things. You got to have a servant heart, and you got to be comfortable in dynamics situations, right? Things change. You got to be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's not going to be the greatest thing. It's not going to be perfect. All those things. We'll have a meeting for adults later on if you are interested. You will have to be background checked. There is no cost for adults besides the food, the travel day meals, and potentially some tool stuff. But the $400 fee that we cover that for you. So don't worry about that. You don't need to have any skills with tools. You don't need to have, in fact, I would tell you the more important thing for me is that you love students and you can be flexible. So if you're interested in that, contact me, see me about that. I'd love to talk to you more about what that might look like and if you'd want to be a part of that with us. So I have to take 1 adult per 5 students. So the more people that are interested, the better. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. You can call me on my cell phone. That's my number. And then $60 saves a spot. You can choose to do it later if you register by October 31st. I can guarantee you a spot. If you wait till after that, sometimes camps fill up. We don't have this camp that we're in. We've filled the camp We're the last group to fill the camp. I've already registered some spots. I have to cancel them by the 31st to get our money back. So then after that, it would just be a first come, first serve, and hope I can get you in. So normally we can, but as we saw with another camp, it filled up. So please let me know if you're interested. You can use the QR code on here, or you'll probably see it with the link that's posted. Other than that, God's blessings. Pray this is something that you think about, talk about with your student. They can watch this video with you, but hopefully it's a blessing to you. If you, again, any other questions, please don't be afraid to reach out. God's blessings. Have an amazing day.